You never knew your birth parents, growing up across the country in orphanages. While alone, you learned to cook and shared your meals across the world, eventually owning your own business. One day you suddenly find out what your parents were. They were Fae. You've fed thousands Fae food. A commercial plays on the television. An unremarkable man with red hair and pale eyes appears, sitting at a large wooden table. He is wearing a suit with a sage green tie. A short melody plays, and you recognize the jingle from a popular food brand. The man begins speaking to the camera. Hi, I'm Marty. You probably know me from Marty's Meals and Menus. My company has one of the best market penetration percentages ever. Our small robots combine, warm, and serve pre-packaged and drone-delivered meals. We have a 5-star rating on every social media platform and e-commerce website. I've also been told that your mother recommended subscribing when you left for college. Okay, so that last one might not be true, but my marketing team told me it has an 89% chance of being true. Jokes aside, my empire has grown quite significantly, and I think it is about to take a step that none of us expected. Now, I know this is going to be hard to swallow, so I want to ask you a question first. If you could, overnight, ensure that every person on this planet was fed, clothed, and sheltered, would you do it? What lengths would you go to? I grew up rough. In and out of orphanages and group homes. I was in a foster home once, but I can't recommend it. After today, nobody will have to know how hard that is ever again. War? Over. Jobs? Only if you want them. I'm going to make this world a paradise. He turns to the side, and the camera zooms out to fit a female speaker. It is at this moment that you notice they are sitting in front of a copse of trees. The female speaker looks speculative but optimistic. She replies, "That's quite a goal, Marty. As your COO, I've seen you do some almost miraculous things. This would be well beyond any of those, however. Our colleague has instructed me to ask what your plan is. I must say, I can't wait to hear how you're going to pull this one off." Marty turns back to the camera and lifts a heavy book. The camera zooms in quickly, and you can tell it is as ancient as it is large. The writing on the cover is in a language you do not know. The camera stays focused on the tone while Marty continues. "This book gave me the idea. You know I was an orphan, right Cindy?" "That I do, Marty." Her feigned enthusiasm is a bit strange, but it isn't the worst acting you've ever seen. "What words of wisdom did you find in there? Or, is it a new recipe?" "Before I tell you, I want you to know where the book came from. About a week ago, a lawyer dropped it off. Said that this particular delivery was time to reach me if I ever made a name for myself. The firm had seen my name in Forbes and thought it was time. The writing is Fae in origin. Do you know what Fae means, Cindy?" The camera has started zooming out, and you catch a glimpse of the female co-host of tonight's broadcast. Her composure has slipped somewhat. "Fae, well, I've seen a few fantasy movies. Fae are some kind of monster that lives in the woods, right?" "That's nearly correct, well done." His enthusiasm feels out of the ordinary, and he waves the cameras in to focus on him. "Fae, also more commonly known as the fairies, were humanoid beings from a realm beyond our own. There are many tales where they would use circles of mushrooms to enter our world. Did you know that only members of their race can read Fae?" An unamused voice comes from Cindy. "No, that's news to me. Where are you going with these fables, Marty?" Marty stands, and there is some kind of commotion as a mobile camera, likely held by a person, begins to follow him. "They aren't quite fables, Cindy. Follow me." He walks a short distance and points at the ground. "Remember what I said about mushroom circles?" Opening the book, he turns to a page and begins to read. The words are strange and somewhat distorted, but the word "open" can be heard clearly. A bright green light runs around the mushrooms, and a leg stretches out across the surreal doorway. As if from the air itself, the leg is followed by an extremely slender woman. As she emerges, she tugs at something while looking into the woods. She is then followed by another slender figure, this time a bit shorter and male. The resemblance they have to Marty is unquestionable. Hair, eyes, and facial features are too close for them to be anything but relatives. "Cindy, let me introduce you to my parents." The cameraman pans to Cindy, whose face is as white as porcelain. Her fixed stare makes you feel uneasy. This was not something she expected to happen tonight. The man and woman, if you can call them that, take a step towards her as if to offer a greeting. Cindy extends her hand, and a flash of victory crosses the strangers' faces. They each clasp it on one side and then another. They are chanting now, and the same distortion returns to the audio. The three of them form a circle as the strangers tighten their grip on each other's hands. More words are said, and the same pale green light passes through their grasp and into Cindy, whose eyes have started glowing. "Marty, what are they doing?" Cindy is trying desperately to shake off their grasp. "Marty, please tell them to stop. Their grip is powerful." They hardly budge as she pulls and convulses. The chant continues, and Marty joins in. "They are only claiming what we're owed. Years of eating fairy food build up quite a bit of debt. I always knew there was something special about it. I think I could feel, even then, what I was sent here to do." His smile is vicious, and his eyes are wide with excitement. The chanting stops, and the female COO kneels. "Now perfectly still," she asks, "how may I serve the Fae?"